Explain what Sony can do with the PX6 to have me and many others reconsider of getting it. You know, the ways of the digital stuff you can get in the games. Explain that one more time.
Yeah, so basically, it would be like with the movie business, um, where you buy a Blu-ray or UHD, Blu-ray disc, right? And it comes with a digital download code, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you buy the movie, it comes with a code in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And you input the code, on, Fandango, movie, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get the digital copy for free. And, like, Sony needs to come up with some kind of an ambassador program with, like, Nintendo, specifically Reggie Fils-Aimé, when he was over at Nintendo America,
Mm-hmm.
to have it to where people can convert their physical copy to integrate into a digital library. You know what I mean? It should be real simple. You know what I mean? Like if you own, Tekken 8, right? Physical, right? You put Tekken 8, the disc.
You just had to bring up Tekken 8. Just had to bring up Tekken 8.
You put it in the system, and then it says, okay, hey, wait a minute, this is Tekken 8. And then, the prompt should come up and say, hey, do you want to download do you want to download, do you want a download version, the digital version of Tekken 8? You just hit yes, and then boom, it's in the library. You know what I mean? And then it should say, okay, well, Tekken 8 has been added to your library.
And you get the digital part for free.
You get the digital part for free, yeah.
I think Sony ain't gonna do that.
Sony needs to give away, because, you shouldn't pay twice for the same thing.
Right. I think that's stupid.
This is something that Sony needs to discuss next year. By next year, they need to make it clear how can you carry over your physical library for both PS4 and PS5 over to PSN.
Right.
That's what it should be. Instead of saying, okay, well, I bought Bloodborne on PS4 back in 2015, and all of a sudden I got to go to the store and I got to buy the digital copy. Nobody's going for that. That's the reason people are upset, because they're thinking in the back of my mind.
And rightfully so. Yeah.
Like, I got to buy this shit twice, and that's not how it works in the movie business. You buy a Blu-ray. That's why people buy a Blu-ray, because it comes with the digital version for free. Because you get the code in the box, and then you put the code in on, the Fandango website, and you can watch it digitally. On your phone, on your, Amazon, Fire TV, or on your computer, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sony needs to come up with some shit to where they just need to start giving out, and they know that we have the physical copy of these games. And then, but it goes to what you're saying, in which you say that they're not going to do that. And, really what backs you up on what you just said is that, like, Sony has recently been caught deleting, the trophy completion rates for all people's profile of games they own physically.
Right. I'm seeing that.
So that basically, so that right there, So yeah, it's real short-sighted. It's like, yeah, we're gonna, everybody's like, yeah, we're gonna get there, but they're not putting out the real numbers. They're not putting out physical digital ratios of games that are available for both formats.
Mm-hmm.
Not putting that information out. They just put this bullshit analytical number of, 85% of our guys digital. Yeah, because the reason why is because a lot of games on PSN are only available digital, and you're also counting. You know what I mean?
They're not even counting the games that are physical too.
They're not. Yeah, you're just counting the additional content. I mean, you're counting all the DLC and everything like that. Yeah, that contributes to 85%, which is a bullshit number. You know what I mean? I do not believe.
Right, I don't believe it either. I already made a video stating that keeps showing that statistic. I'm like, no, that's false narrative.
It's statistic.
It's a false narrative.
Yeah, because let's do a comparison. You know what I mean? If you're that confident that, you know, they throw out bullshit numbers all the time, 85%, 90%. Okay, if you're that confident, put out the numbers in your financial report that shows, you know what I mean, all the physical games since 2013. Get a list of every single game that is available physical, and then match it towards digital ratio, and release it publicly. You're not going to do that.
Right. They're not.
Because they're lying. Because they're lying. They're lying about that physical. As a matter of fact, some people have already revealed that, for example, Astrobot sold more physically than digitally. And the reason why that is because Astrobot, you know, has somewhat become an evergreen title in Japan. You know what I mean? So people keep buying Astrobot in Japan. That's the reason why the physical sales are higher than digital sales. So that's what that is. You know what I mean? Let's do a ratio of digital to physical for titles that are available for both. Okay, let's compare Tekken 8 physical versus digital. Who all bought Tekken 8 physical versus who all bought Tekken 8 digital? Okay. Grand Blue, you know, Fantasy, not Grand Blue, but Mortal Kombat 1, right? Who bought Mortal Kombat 1 physical versus digital? Street Fighter 6. You know what I mean? Guilty Gear Strive, you know what I mean? You know, let's put it up. You know what I mean? If you're that confident, you know what I mean? Well, let's get a glimpse.
Yeah, because a lot of these people, they're not going for that all digital stuff, man, and they can't really own the game because you're renting a license.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they're lying about the ratio.
That too.
They're clearly lying about the ratio. They're clearly lying about the ratio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, Sony full of it, man. I can't rock with that.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, because the thing about it is like the question you asked earlier about. I think what they're going to do to incentivize people to go to the store is, okay, well, in Japan, I don't know what they're going to do over here, but I know in Japan they're going to probably offer limited edition versions of games, but there probably won't be a game case, whatever. There'll be like probably a code inside, whatever, some shit like that, to download the game. So that's the only thing I can see them doing over there to remain in store. But I don't see them, backtracking on that, because they're the way they look at it, is the digital customer is way more important to them than the physical customer. They basically told all those physical buyers that, we're not important.
The secondhand market they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of the secondhand market. You know what I mean? They're trying to, because they want that 30% cut. Now, and then, and I said this, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I said, now why exactly is Sony doing this? That's the question that people don't want to answer. Why? They don't want to ask the question, nor do they want to answer it. Why is Sony actually doing this? What is driving Sony to want an all-digital PS6? And the answer is very simple. Because they're not getting new customers. They're not getting new customers. So, because they're not getting new customers, they can make more money off that digital consumer more than that physical consumer. See what I'm saying? Because when Hiroki Totoki became the president and COO of Sony Group, he stated that he wants to make sure that, to him, what drives him are profit margins more than anything else. He wants to make sure that Sony is, bringing in money, right?
To please the investors.
Right, exactly. So the way he looks at it is the physical, consumer, he don't care about them because he doesn't like the idea. Well, the business really, has hated you. They've hated you for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, the entire industry is behind this movie. I mean, every publisher loves it because they ain't got to spend millions of dollars on marketing and retail space and talking to retailers and compare their game. I mean, they figured out, okay, well, this is a trigger moment. I mean, and the trigger moment will lead to an entirely new thing.
This is the lazy way to do it, man. They getting complacent, man. It's all about exploiting your convenience.
Right, yeah. So it's like but they want that, the digital customer is much more likely to spend money on additional content. I mean, I'm seeing this firsthand even now with Dead or Alive 6 last round. More people are buying the DLC for last round than they did the original Dead or Alive 6. Why is that? Because Dead or Alive 6 last round was only available digital. You know what I mean?
I wish it came out on physical. I would get it for sure.
Yeah, so people would be like, they look at it and they're like, okay, well, yeah, that, I think that Kasumi, album was come out sometime this week. They say sometime this week. But the DLC, whatever, shut that. But, they figure because, the reason why the industry is doing all this shit, because they're not getting new people. They're not getting new people. I mean, that's what the issue is. They're not getting new people. So, Jim Ryan, when he was there, he stated that he thinks that the PS5 is going to sell 180 million units. So that's less. That's pretty much almost, that's like 8 million units less than the PS4. But he thinks the PS5 will top at 108 million. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they don't care about breaking the record anymore. They don't care about.
Obviously not, because they ain't gonna break the PS2 record. Not with this mindset.
They don't care about that 160. They think that, so instead of reaching that 160, surpassing that 160 million, they want to squeeze a lot more out of that 100 million. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they want that 100 million to make up for the fact that they can't get the 60 million. So they're going to squeeze more out of the 100 million that they got. That's how the way they're moving out.
Yeah.
That's why they want that dude so bad. They know they're not going to get.
You saying this made me just ruin my appetite of playing it. I was about to turn it off, and then I was like, nah, I'm about to do something else. I'm about to get ready, dog.
Yeah, it's like, that's just what it is, man. They just because he said it, you know what I mean? He said, oh, we want our focus is monthly active use. You know what I mean? He wants to milk, he wants to, wring, because, milk is, is whatever, but like, wring, he wants to wring dry. He wants to wring the shit dry out of every person that owns the PS5. You know what I mean? That's why the MTX, the microtransaction prices are higher, because they're not getting new people over to buy PS5. And then you got the situation with the components and all this other shit, man. So he figured, yeah, man, let's just squeeze more out of the people that we have now to make up for the fact that we can't get that that 9-year-old, that 12-year-old, that 15-year-old to get a PS5. You know what I mean? And so that's why people are saying that, this business may end up becoming, a rich man's hobby. You know what I mean? So like if you're making,
it's a luxury, huh?
It's a luxury, yeah. Like if you're making less than $50,000 a year, you're gonna be struggling. You know what I mean? And they don't care. They just think that, hey, the PS, they're willing to spend more. They're spending money on, they're spending $2,000 on graphics cards and $1,000 on monitors, shit like that. You know what I mean? And the thing about
That's
it, man,
ridiculous.
It fits with what Sony's been doing with all their other products over here, because they're moving. It seems to me that they're moving the PlayStation to be a premium brand. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like they're moving. Cause that's what they did with the Xperia, the Sony Xperia phone. There is a premium brand smartphone. It's the only phone in the world which has a 4K display. It's the world's first only true 4K phone. You can record in 4K, you can play in 4K, you can watch in 4K. It's the only phone that has a 4K screen. Whereas like all these phones that are else phones that we got, it's got these weird resolutions, 29, 100 by, you know what I mean? It's got these weird, these cute HD, you know what I mean? It's got these weird resolutions. But the Xperia is a premium, smartphone. So it seems like Sony's trying to do that with PlayStation. They're trying to move the PlayStation over to this premium brand experience, in which they don't care whether you can afford it or not. You know what I mean? Because the thing about it, the way they're thinking is, okay, well, if Apple can do it, man, why can't we do it? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to be picky, bro, with your games, bro.
Right. All Apple shit is premium. So what separates them from us? Like, because probably what Sony's thinking is, man, Apple copied, our business model in the first place. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then Sony's like, man, we make better shit than Apple. Why is it you guys are so willing to pay $2,000 for a phone, but we can't charge you $1,000 for a PS? That's what Sony's top guys are thinking like that. They're thinking like, yeah, man, you know what, man, we've been around since the 1950s. We build the world's best technology, consumer electronics. You know what I mean? We should be looked at as a premium brand on you. You see that Sony logo? That means premium. That you should be willing to pay for that premium quality, because we gave you that premium quality for over, 50 years. So that's probably what they're thinking now. Because they don't want people to look at the PlayStation as, okay, well, it's some kind of toy. You know what I mean? It's a device. It's a premium device that offers a premium experience. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why they're not going to back down. That's why if you look at that Flex Strike arcade stick, that's why it costs a lot. You know what I mean? So it seems to me that Sony is finally moving the PlayStation division to a premium signature status, in which everything is premium. You know what I mean? And that you should want to pay for that premium experience, because nobody else in the market offers the experience that we're offering. You see what I'm saying?
They gotta give us some incentive.
Right, they gotta give an incentive. That's what they gotta do.
Because I'm telling you, the PS6 is probably gonna be the biggest flop in gaming console history if they have this mindset of and not having incentive or have ways of doing digital.
I don't think it's gonna be a flop. I think that it's going to be the lowest selling mainline PlayStation console of all time. Well, that I don't think it's even going to get to like past 50 million.
Mm.
And they don't care because they figure that 50 million is going to be worse than the 100 million they got right now. Because the 50 million for the PS6, they're going to buy all that DLC, all that shit, and they're going to floss on TikTok like how, man, look at all this DLC I got. Because you're seeing it now.
Yeah. We seeing it right now.
We're seeing it right now. Motherfuckers are spending thousands of dollars on Fortnite. Thousands on Fortnite. Apex Legends. Motherfuckers are dumping thousands of dollars into these games. These games are making billions of dollars every single quarter.
Call of Duty.
And then Sony's like, man, we need to get in on that.
Marvel Rivals, they're looking at that, and they're not looking at games that come out in physical as well. They don't care.
Right. Because look at Marvel Rivals. Did it come out physical? No. Marvel Rivals is a digital-only title. And look how much money they're making. And then Sony's like, look, all you guys online, you know what I mean, with your videos and shit like that, man, they're probably looking to be like, yo, we got the numbers. We know who our customers actually are. We know who's actually buying our products. We know who's actually spending the money on PSN, and it's not you motherfuckers. And so that's probably the attitude they have. Is they're looking at these gamers, quote unquote, they're not actually buying the games. They're just using the games.
Yep, sure is.
On their YouTube content channel. So, I can understand where both sides are coming from. Like Sony is calling the bluff of the gaming industry. Like, who of you are actually playing the games? You know what I mean? Instead of watching them on YouTube. Right? That's what this is. This is a call out. This is a call out. That's basically what it is. It's a call out.
And they ain't saying nothing else. They just showed the flex strike, and that was it.
Flex strike, yeah, because they know. They got the number. They're confident. That tells me they're extremely confident in their data that they have. They're extremely confident. They feel that all that shit that y'all talking online, the numbers are not adding up. You guys are not buying the game. You're not going to the stores. You know what I mean? Because if y'all talk as big as y'all say y'all did, these games would be selling in the tens of millions. You know what I mean? Look at Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that talk of, oh man, yeah, man, I can't wait for this game, blah, blah, and all this other shit, right? And then what happened? They'll come up with an excuse, oh man, you know what I mean? And then, then what happened when they announced it on Nintendo Switch 2 and Xbox Series? Motherfuckers like, yeah, man, finally we're getting Final Fantasy Rebirth, man. That shit was a complete and total bomb on both platforms. You know what I mean? A complete and total bomb. Like, it's not even close not even remotely close between the PlayStation 5 version sales versus the Switch.
Like I was saying, they're exploiting your convenience on this digital stuff, and they taking advantage of it. I already said my piece. I just want to get on like what you think about it.
Yeah, and then next year with Revelation, you know what I mean? The disparity is going to be huge. PlayStation versus everybody else. And so, I'm just like, I think Sony's extremely confident in their data. Because if you look at the signatures right now for physical media, man, them signatures should be like 10 million right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the shit is barely at 100,000. So, that tells me that, yeah, they're not gonna back down from this. They're not gonna back down from this. Because the numbers, they got the numbers. And you just look at the petition signature. You It's pathetic. Nobody, like who signed the petition? So you can't even. So gamers can't even rightly mobilize against physical. So I mean, I'll do full physical.
Yeah, because most of them ain't about that. Like, they're not gonna cancel their pre-orders of GTA 6.
Right, they're not gonna be like
That proves it.
Yeah, they're like, yo, man, I want to play my GTA 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna cancel it.
Yeah, because the thing about gamers, man. I mean, like they don't stand for nothing because gaming has become, a hobby of the addicted. I mean, I get it where however I can, instead of getting to the best way you can. Right. So.
Yeah, they don't have the mindset like us, man.
Nah. You know what I mean? Like when I got that Grand Blue, Endless Ragnarok on the way. But what's funny about that game is that it's such a fucking joke too. You know what I mean? But they put a mode in the game to where all the characters in your party, they play on themselves. Yeah, I mean, there's a mode in which you can set
I remember you was telling me about that.
Yeah. So I mean, what really are we fighting for?